Hi ladies and gentle people, welcome back. Today we're going to look at future forms, the present simple, present continuous, future simple, will and shall, and going to plus infinitive. I'm doing this in English because it's also for my TTO classes. If you wish there to be a Dutch form variant, just let me know and maybe I'll find a time to make another video. Right, I'm going to do it just like I normally do when explaining tenses. There's always 3 or 4 different parts. There will be the rule, as in what rule does it follow, when do you need to use this. Then the signal words, so how can you recognize that you need to use this form in a sentence. And then the formula, how do you make it? So how do you fill it out if you have to fill that in on a test? And sometimes with number 4, I give you an example sentence that you can use or fill out. Okay, and then the last part for this series, the going to plus infinitive. So we have the rule again, and we use this for future intentions and predictions. And this is a different prediction than what we've seen here. These were based on your personal experience, and these are based on what you know and can see. So these are more evidence-based, really. And I'll give you some examples of that later on. It's quite hard to see if there's any signal words, but if I had to write down what you can look for in a sentence, I'd say look for truth. And obviously that's relative, but about what you know and see. These are quite often the facts that you can get from somewhere rather than from your own personal experience. And I'll explain to you in the examples what I mean by that. Then we have the formula here. How do you make it? It's not too difficult. It's to be again. The MR is form plus going to plus the verb. In the negative, it's to be plus not plus going to plus verb. And then we have that question to be. This is where the subject will be. And then going to plus verb. And I'll give you some examples of that. Okay, and I've written down some examples again. So a positive, I'm going to cook pasta for dinner. It's an intention that you have. You want to cook your pasta for dinner, but it's not happened yet, and you don't really have a set time or date, place or date for that. It's just an intention that you want to do that. In the question, you can ask that as well. Are you going to visit grandma anytime soon? You are asking for the intention of the person there. Do you have that intention, and can I maybe come along? And in the negative, I've put down a prediction, but based on facts on what you know. Oh, that meal looks delicious. You can sort of compliment someone on that, but my husband isn't going to eat it, I'm afraid, because he has allergies. So it's a prediction because he's allergic to peanuts, and you can see that there's peanuts or peanut butter in there. He's not going to eat it, and it's based on the fact that you know that your husband is allergic, or maybe your father or your dad or anyone that you know. So it is a prediction based on facts. Quite often you'd use this as well for the question or the statement, it's going to rain at around 3 o'clock. It still is a prediction, but it's based on the facts. Like, you've seen the weather, you know that that's what they've predicted there as well. So it's not a personal opinion. That's when you use the MR is going to. Lastly, so we've looked at the present. We've looked at the present simple future form, the present continuous future form. We looked at the future simple over here. And we also looked at the going to plus infinitive. But what if there's a conjunction? and I'm going to explain that to you here. After words like if or unless or before, after, when, as soon as, you'd use the present simple. And I'll give you an example of that sentence. Your food will taste better if you eat it quickly. If you don't eat your food now, it will get cold. So it will taste better if you eat it quickly. If you don't eat your food, it will get cold. So this is just a normal future tense, but after the ifs, it always gets a present simple, just like I've explained here. And that happens with if, unless, before, after, and any of these words. So that's a tip for you on your test. Good luck with this, guys.